everyone, and welcome to the daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. So today we will be discussing the important news articles and editorials for yesterday. That was 30th of August, and today that is 31st August. So it is going to be a little long discussion. So we hope that you hold all in patience. So there are two editorials for a discussion. The first one is from the Hindu that talks about the patriarchal mindset of the legal system. This is about the recent observation that has come up from the Kerala Sessions Court. What is it? We'll discuss over here. And second article is from the Indian Express that has been taken from that is about the Bengaluru's Idgah maidan. That is a lot into news these days, and the celebration of Ganesh Chaturthi over there. And then we have the news update and legal news for the day. So let's discuss the first article for the day that talks about curing the patriarchal mindset of the legal system. Now, time and again, we have been discussing about this issue with especially the Indian legal or the judicial system, wherein we say that though definitely we are working in the spirit of the constitution, there are still some wherein the patriarchy finds its way in the judicial system, be it if we compare with the number of judges, male to female, as we know the ratio, as we know that there are very few female judges, be it in the Supreme Court or even in other higher judiciary as well. So in there also we see that the patriarchy in a way, or the opportunities for men are more proliferant as compared to women, and even in various kinds of judgments also every now and then we see hints of patriarchy lingering upon. So recently a sessions court in Kerala stated that offence under section 354A of the Indian Penal Code could not be made if the alleged victim was dressed in a sexually provocative way. Now, I'm very sure that most of you who must be hearing this or reading this, you must be really shocked, as I was when I read this judgment that came through the Kerala Sessions Court, that if at all there was a victim or there is a woman who was dressed in a sexually provocative way, so in that situation, she cannot bring an offense of 354A against the other person just because she was sexually provocatively dressed. So such observations are clearly against the constitutional right of dignity of the women and the right to their personal liberty and freedom as well. Let's discuss this in a further detail. So in the case of Aparna Bhatt versus State of Madhya Pradesh in 2021 itself, the Supreme Court held that any observation that could trivialize the victim in gender violence cases was to be avoided at all costs. And definitely this has not been taken care of while this observation of Kerala Sessions Court has come up. So any other comment that is dressed in a provocative way or leads a promiscuous lifestyle, they're all irrelevant and are to be strictly avoided. Now, this is very important for us to know that even if there is a rape victim, so the history or, the character as such, or, whatever profession she used to take care of or she used to carry, that is not material when it comes to such cases. So even if there was a woman and she used to, work even as a prostitute, so that still shall not bring down her plight of being a rape victim. But that definitely has not been taken care of in this case, wherein if at all she was dressed provocatively, allegedly, whatever we think of that way, so that should not have been taken as a relevant point or a relevant thing to be observed, as has been pointed out by the Aparna Bhatt case, but that was not taken care of by the Kerala Sessions Court in this situation. So one of the primary reasons for such problems is the severe indifference towards the hardships of females from the society and the equally severe lack of women representation of women in the judiciary and especially in the top court, as we were just discussing while we were discussing about in the initial stage of this discussion. So a remedial measure to cure the patriarchal mindset of the socio-legal system would be the inclusion of feminist jurisprudence. Definitely we would need that. Now, choice of dress is an integral part of an individual's freedom of privacy and dignity, and the same does not give anyone a license to outrage her modesty. Definitely we should understand that the choice that she is making to wear any kind of dress or the way she wants to carry herself is a complete strict question of her own privacy and dignity, and that is why it should not at all be merged with any question of her modesty being outraged. And these are two different things and should be kept in two different hands only. Now let's discuss the second article for the day that talks about Bengaluru's Idgah maidan and the legal battle over the use of Wakf land. So the Supreme Court recently has refused to allow Ganesh Utsav in the Bengaluru Idgah maidan. So for now, the status quo shall be maintained as the present Chief Justice of India, as we all know is UU Lalit, constituted a fresh 3-judge bench to hear the case again. So basically, the Assistant Revenue Officer issued a show cause notice to the Wakf board to prove its legitimacy of the claim on the land. And this was due to rumors that had surfaced on the ownership of this land by Brihat Bengaluru Mahanagar Palike, that was the city's municipal corporation. Now, after this, the single judge bench was moved on the issue, and the subsequent order mentioned that the government could use the land only on Independence Day and the Republic Day. The Waqf board could use the land only on Ramazan and Bakrid days, and the rest of the days shall be deemed as a playground for children. So the Supreme Court recently heard the case, but the two-judge bench was divided in their opinions, and thus a three-judge bench has recently been set up by Justice UU Lalit to preside on the issue. So after the Supreme Court ruling, the Ganesh Utsav has been stopped from being celebrated, as we know that status quo has been maintained and the stay has been provided. That it should not be celebrated as of now. But the larger questions regarding the land remains as to maybe what would be the purpose of the land, the real ownership or the claim of the land, etc. And let's hope that with this three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, a lot of questions would be clear in the coming future. Now let's see what do we have for news updates today. Firstly, International Day Against Nuclear Tests, that is 29th August. So on December 2nd, 2009, the 64th session of the United Nations General Assembly declared 29th August as the International Day Against Nuclear Tests. The resolution calls for increasing awareness and education about the effects of nuclear weapon test explosions or any other nuclear explosions and the need of their cessation, that is stopping of them, as one of the means of achieving the goal of nuclear weapon-free world. Here is a question for you all. If you all know that is India a nuclear weapon power or not? So do we have nuclear power or do we not have it? So if you know the answer, let me know in the comment section below. Secondly, South Korea breaks record for world's lowest fertility rate again. So the country's fertility rate, which indicates the average number of children a woman will have in her lifetime, sunk to 0.81, that is not even one whole, in 2021, and that is 0.03% lower than the previous year, according to the government-run statistics in Korea. Thirdly, 8th International Film Festival of Shimla. So a total of 81 films was the cynosure at the 3-day-long International Film Festival at Shimla, held at the Gaiety Theatre, the Ridge, Shimla. So the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, Jai Ram Thakur, inaugurated the film festival. Fourthly, Smart India Hackathon 2022. The Ministry of Education hosted the Smart India Hackathon 2022. So during the grand conclusion of the Smart India Hackathon, the Prime Minister interacted with the attendees. The two Smart India Hackathon 2022 editions are Smart India Hackathon hardware and Smart India Hackathon software. Fifthly, Joint Military Exercise Vajra Prahar. So the 13th edition of the India-US Joint Special Forces Exercise Vajra Prahar 2022 culminated at Himachal Pradesh's Baklo. Special forces from the two countries participated in the 21-day joint training exercise. The annual exercise is hosted alternatively between India and the United States. These will be the two countries that are associated with the Vajra Prahar military exercise. Sixthly, India's Lieutenant General Subramaniam takes command of United Nations' largest peacekeeping operation. So in South Sudan, the month of August falls in the middle of the rainy season, but the clear blue skies in the country's capital, Juba, welcomed India's Lieutenant General Mohan Subramaniam when he assumed the charge of force commander in the world's largest United Nations peacekeeping mission over there. Seventhly, Tata Steel inks MOU, that is a Memorandum of Understanding with Punjab government to set up steel plant in Ludhiana. So Tata Steel has signed a MOU, that is a Memorandum of Understanding on August 26, 2022 with the government of Punjab for setting up a 0.75 million TPA long, MNTPA basically long product steel plant with a scrap-based electric arc furnace. So the MOU was signed in the presence of Shri Bhagwant Mann, who is the Honorable Chief Minister of Punjab. Eighth, Beijing tops and Bengaluru is in second position in the Asia Pacific in the tech hubs. So Bengaluru ranks second after Beijing on the list of top technology hubs in the Asia Pacific region, according to the property consultant Cushman and Wakefield, that is the source basically. So the report has identified Bengaluru, Chennai, Hyderabad and Delhi as the top technology hubs in the APAC region, that is the Asia Pacific region after Beijing, and that is a great news for all of us. Ninthly, FIFA lifts ban on AIFF. So that's really a sigh of relief for all of us. So FIFA has lifted the ban that was suspension that was there on the All India Football Federation. So FIFA had suspended the AIFF on August 17 due to third-party interference. So the Supreme Court had removed Praful Patel and appointed a committee of administrators to run the AIFF. 10th, we have Nagaland gets its second railway station in 119 years. That's definitely a very, very long time. So, in a recent development, Nagaland just got its second railway station after a gap of more than 100 years, as we know, 119 years to be very precise, with the commissioning of the new facility at Shokhuvi. So, Dimapur railway station, which is situated in the heart of the commercial hub of the state, was inaugurated in 1903. 11th, Vedic planetarium, that's the world's largest temple. So the temple of the Vedic planetarium in Mayapur, West Bengal, is a temple currently under construction, and it is slated to be ready by 2023. And when it does, it will be the world's largest Hindu temple and one of the tallest in the world as well. Let's see what do we have for legal updates now. Firstly, arbitrators fee cap is a rupees 30 lakhs. Ceiling limit applicable to individual arbitrators is not tribunal as a whole. This says the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court held that the ceiling of rupees 30 lakhs in entry at serial number 6 of the Schedule 4 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act is applicable to the sum of base amount and the variable amount, and not just the variable amount. So basically, it will be for the sum of the base and the variable amount. The bench held that the highest fee payable shall be 30 lakh rupees. This was held in the case of Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited versus Afcons Gunanusa JV. Secondly, MOU between private parties cannot be specifically enforced. Party not entitled to interim relief under Section 9 of Arbitration and Conciliation Act as held by the Delhi High Court. So the Delhi High Court has held that MOU, that is a Memorandum of Understanding, which is in nature of a commercial transaction between two private parties, is by its very nature determinable, and hence the said MOU can be terminated even in the absence of any termination clause contained in it. And this was held by the Delhi High Court in the case of Royal Orchids versus Kulbir Singh Kohli and another. So this was all for today. We hope you liked the session. If you did, you will like it. Also, if you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below, or you can also scan this QR code that you can see on your screens right now. Thank you so much.